All right, knock knock, it's your Uncle Bob, back with another episode of Books I Will Never Read Again. And oh boy, do we have a special kind of awful for you today. We are diving headfirst into a book so dense, so completely up its own backside you could use it to anchor a battleship. It's called The Thirst for Annihilation by some crusty bozo named Nick Land. Stick around, and I'll explain why the only thing this book is gonna annihilate is your patience and maybe a few brain cells.
Now let's be crystal clear about what's about to happen here. This isn't a book review. This is an intervention. Think of it as a controlled demolition. I'm not here to admire the fancy word architecture. No. I'm here to strap dynamite to the pillars of pretension and explain, in detail, why this whole goddamn thing needs to be leveled. So if you were thinking of reading this, you're welcome. I just say,
you know that guy? The guy at the party who corners you by the onion dip to tell you that your whole existence is a construct? This book is that guy. It was written by that guy, for that guy. So consider this whole thing a public service. It's a vaccine against the kind of person who thinks being impossible to understand makes them sound smart.
Okay, let's get into the muck. So right out of the gate, this dingbat decides to tackle all the big, depressing hits. Death, the sun, cosmic dread, the whole shebang. It reads like a 14-year-old goth's diary after his mom told him to clean his room. The main takeaway seems to be that being useful is for suckers, and the only cool thing to do is just waste everything. Groundbreaking stuff.
Just look at that. Let it sink in. It's a sentence that trips over its own shoelaces and then blames the floor. What does it even mean? It's like he swallowed a thesaurus and just sort of coughed it up onto the page. This isn't a profound thought, folks. This is intellectual constipation. The man is a word factory with zero quality control.
Right? What is this piss clown on about? You read that and your brain just stops. And it's not because it's so brilliant. It's because it's so aggressively meaningless. It's like one of those magic eye puzzles. You stare at it for 5 minutes, and when you finally see the image, you realize it's just a picture of you wasting your time. It's weaponized boredom.
So allow me to translate. He's saying being productive is for numbskulls. The only real path to enlightenment is to be as useless as possible. He calls it unconstrained wastage. You know what I call that? My nephew after he gets into the Halloween candy. It's not some profound cosmic state, you nitwit. It's a sugar crash waiting to happen. It's a mess. Oh, and it gets so much better. Now he wants us to live like suns. Not, get a little sunshine. No, he wants us to actually be a sun. A giant flaming ball of gas having a multi-billion-year-long temper tantrum. That's a real practical life goal for a guy who probably has to remember to take out the recycling on Tuesdays.
Yeah, where do I sign up for that? I've always dreamed of being a giant fusion reactor that just vomits radiation into the endless cold void of space. It sounds super relaxing. This isn't philosophy, people. This is what happens when a cheese blockhead stares at the sky for too long and gets a really, really dumb idea.
So once he's done yelling at the sun, our brave author decides to pick a fight with an even bigger target, God. And you think, okay, a philosophical argument against God, this could be interesting. Nope. This knuckle-dragger strategy is to just call God a bunch of names. It's like watching a middle school bully try to give the creator of the universe a wedgie. I mean, will you look at this? It's not enough for him to not believe. He has to call God a slow child and suggest he be put on a modest pension. A pension? Who's paying into the cosmic pension fund? Is there a celestial 401k? This isn't an argument. It's just bizarrely specific insults. I honestly think God must have cut this guy off in traffic once. It's the only explanation. And here we go. This is the literary equivalent of a teenager wearing a trench coat in August. He's basically saying if you're an atheist but you don't get giddy at the thought of brutal historical torture, then you're a fake. You're just a poser. The edginess here is so intense you could trip over it in the dark.
Whoa, settle down there, you punk-ass nerd. We get it. You're a real tough guy. This isn't a critique of faith. It's a tantrum in book form. He's trying so hard to sound like a dangerous thinker, but he just comes off like a kid who just discovered angry music and now thinks it's a whole personality. It's just sad.
All right, everybody. Deep breaths. We've arrived at my favorite section. This is the part where the author gives up on making sense entirely and just starts chucking words at the wall to see what sticks. Welcome, one and all, to Professor Word Salad's greatest hits. This is where the real pain begins.
First on the chopping block, ferocious negation. Ooh, spooky. Sounds like a move in a fighting game, doesn't it? Well, it's not. It's just a ridiculously dramatic way to say no. You know, like when your spouse holds up a shirt you haven't worn since 1998 and asks if you're going to keep it? The gut-wrenching no you utter? That's ferocious negation. Utterly pointless.
Next we have sponge space. Now, I've read the context for this one, and I still have no earthly idea what it means, so I've come up with my own definition. Sponge space is that quiet, fuzzy place your mind goes when someone's trying to explain their cryptocurrency idea to you at a family barbecue. It's a mental panic room to protect you from weapons-grade stupidity.
And now, my absolute favorite, libidinal vivisection. It just sounds sticky and horrible. And guess what? It is, because that's exactly what this bicycle seat sniffer is doing to the English language. He's strapping perfectly good words to a table and just cutting them open to see what's inside. It's a crime, is what it is. A crime against communication.
And the hits just keep on coming from the nitwit factory. Fanged nomenon. The convulsion of zero. I mean, ghoulish technical jargon, hey, at least he's honest about that one. Reading this list is like being assaulted by a drunk academic with a dictionary. It's not language. It's just noise. It's the sound of a computer trying to divide by zero.
Okay, we've made it. We have crawled through the swamp of bad ideas and word salad. We've survived the cosmic whining and the playground theology. It's time to bring this train wreck into the station and issue a final verdict on this thing that's bound in paper.
And there it is, ladies and gentlemen, the smoking gun from the author's own mouth. He admits it. This book isn't for you to read and understand. It's for him to prove how hard he can think. It's the intellectual equivalent of a guy at the gym grunting really loud while he lifts tiny weights. It's not about communication. It's just a desperate cry for attention. How pathetic.
So here we are, after all that pain, after this intellectual boot camp where the drill sergeant was just screaming gibberish, we have to ask the final question. Is this journey worth taking? After everything we've seen, should you, a person with a finite amount of time on this earth, actually read this book?
No. Absolutely, unequivocally, not a chance in hell, do not do it. Life is too short. There are pizzas to eat, there are dogs that need petting, there are naps that need to be taken. Do literally anything else. Reading this book is a waste of precious time you could be spending, I don't know, staring at a wall. It would be more productive. So buzz off, you silly goose. Don't even think about it.
You know what? I'm going to let the author have the last word. He says, reading this stuff gives you dreams of incinerated cities. And for once, he's right. After trudging through this nonsense, I too have ardent dreams of incineration. Specifically, of incinerating every last copy of this book. Now get out of here. Class dismissed.